G'day guys, welcome to episode 33 of Ask Jack D. Today I get really passionate about what do you do in business when you start out with no money or you start out with money and run out of money, and how entrepreneurship isn't about the resources you have but more about the resourcefulness that you have.
Strength to take with me, line up the stars, fly away quickly and push the world forward like a tidal wave hit me. I ride the waves.
G'day guys and welcome to episode 33 of Ask Jack D. Today we are taking a question from Twitter from Miss Bossy Boots, who has got to have one of the best names we've ever had on this show, right? So Nat, Miss Bossy Boots, awesome name. Keep up the awesome work. And she's also a new Entourage Diploma of Business specialising in entrepreneurship student. So Miss Bossy Boots, Nat, well done on enrolling in our diploma. We look forward to the journey and seeing your amazing growth and your journey over the next 12 months as you go through that diploma that will genuinely enable you to become the person and the entrepreneur required in order to start and build great companies. So well done on enrolling. Miss Bossy Boots asks, what do you do when you run out of money? Very directed to the point. But I think it's a really good question, right? I think it's a very good question because we always do, right? When we're in the startup stage of business, guys, it's incredibly hard. Resource is incredibly scarce, meaning we probably have no money, right? It's my view. See, I often look at things quite paradoxically and quite differently, if you like. It's my view that if you've ever started a business with no money or you are planning to start a business with no money, it is not necessarily a weakness. I actually think it's the best thing you've ever done or the best thing you're ever going to do. And here's why. Entrepreneurship is not about resources. Entrepreneurship is about resourcefulness. Right? So when you start a business with nothing, it forces you to innovate and find new ways of doing things and find new ways of creating and find new ways of engaging and reaching people. Find new and innovative ways to exist and create and to build, right? And it's those practices, when done well, will ultimately enable you to start bringing a little bit of revenue. And then you get to a point where you can bring on somebody, and then you get to a point where you can bring on somebody else. And all of a sudden this business starts to build and this momentum starts to build, and you start to have a little bit of finance. You start to have a few people around you. And because your background is founded in startup business where you actually had nothing. I lived there for 5 years. My first 5 years of business, well, the first about 3 years I lost money. Next 2 years didn't have any money. So I spent the first 5 years of business with nothing, right? When I then started to build, I found that I was so much more effective than particularly the large businesses that I was competing against because my background was in having nothing. So when I got something, a little bit of cash flow or a few stuff or whatever it might be, you start to become so much more powerful than those that you're competing against because you've grown up very differently, right? So what do you do when you run out of money? The answer is hustle. The answer is get resourceful. There's so many, most of the stuff we do, I still do today to build brand and to win business and to build significant partnerships and to expand into other countries and, much higher level stuff, but the same principles that are informing it. Most of it's free, right? We do, my model for building brands is partnerships, PR and publishing. Partnerships, go out and set up strategic partnerships with complementary businesses that already have the audience you want to target. They've already got them on a database somewhere, and you can create a win-win relationship with them and incentivize them to market your products and service to their audience, provided it's not a competitive business but a complementary business. And you start to win business and customers from them in a way which is really cooperative and collaborative with them and it remunerates them for doing so, right? So that's partnerships. PR, packaging a story in a really effective way that enables you to write a press release and package a story in a way that journalists really want to run it. Rosie, what was the episode where I ran through the system for writing press releases?
That was,
number 30, right? Yeah, number 30. Gresh, give them like 20 seconds of the press release instruction now. Most people get PR very wrong, and they get it wrong by going, they release a press release and it says XYZ company has just launched. We're going to revolutionize XYZ industry because we're doing XYZ. And if you want to talk to us about XYZ, contact us at xyz.com. The problem is it's all about them. One of the fundamental lessons that I needed to learn in about 2006 with regard to PR, when I sat down with a friend of mine who I had a high degree of trust in, particularly when it comes to PR and brand building, and I showed her all the stuff that we were releasing for our business at the time, it was MBE Education. And she said, Jack, I'm going to tell you something and you need to understand this. It might hurt a little bit, but it'll help. And I said, Jessie, just give it to me. And she said, Jack, nobody gives a shit about Jack. You need to say something that's relevant and pertinent to the story that's already going on in the media. So PR is the second thing that we can use in order to build brand and win business and build a name and start to really sort of find that launch pad, if you like, in a way that costs us nothing. And the thing with partnerships and PR and publishing is that PR, you take PR for an example, it is more effective than paid advertising. So this is what I mean by, if you've ever started a business with nothing, it's the best thing you've ever done. Because the things that you have found a way of doing through innovation will actually cut through the noise of what everybody else is paying for. So PR, we get between 60 and 100 PR pieces a month. We generate probably, tens of millions of dollars in PR every year for free, right? In a way that cuts through all of the advertising that universities and big corporates around Australia are paying for. So it's the essence of starting out with nothing and needing to master the science of alchemy. How do you create something out of nothing? That has enabled us to get there and have that in our DNA. So partnerships, PR, publishing is basically developing content like this that educates your audience, whether it's through blogs or videos or checklists or PDFs or books or whatever, doesn't matter, white papers. It enables you to genuinely, first you need to go and explore the hearts and minds of your audience to know what it is they want and how you can add value to them, which is a pricelessly valuable exercise to do anyway. And secondly, you need to get really good at communicating to the hearts and minds of your audience rather than talking about your products and services all the time, right? So strategies like this that when employed will cost nothing and will outperform all the other businesses that are out there paying for everything because that's all they ever knew and they've got big budgets and all of that sort of stuff. Entrepreneurship is about hustle. It's not about resources. We compete on resourcefulness. If you want to watch a movie about this, go and watch Moneyball, right? It's a true story. Brad Pitt's the main character, Oakland A's, and they've got a player recruitment budget of 40 million. New York Yankees have a player recruitment budget of 140 million. So it's an unfair game. They've got to find a new way, and they do, and they equal the record for matches won in any one given season, right? Incredible story about how resourcefulness trumps resources. Miss Bossy Boots, love that question. Thank you for answering it. Huh? Did I? Fuck. She didn't answer it. Miss Bossy Boots, thank you for asking the question. Why am I doing this today? Thank you for asking that question, Miss Bossy Boots. I look forward to chatting with you guys.